Hey everybody, I'm John Bettis and welcome to the Artist Eye 411. I am excited because this is actually going to be the first episode, you would say, and I'm hoping of many, where we talk about everything art. So actually today what we're going to be talking about is lenticular art, or as we like to say, transitional art. And this is the art that you've seen in movie posters where they change back and forth. They have some where it's like Marilyn Monroe changing back and forth, which is kind of cool, and the image just changes. One of the most fascinating one I've seen, and I cannot think of the artist, which I'm really upset about that, but they did this really cool art one where it was in some museum, and what it was is the stages of life. So literally it's the picture of this little girl, this painting of this little girl that transitions into a woman, that changes into like a middle-aged woman, that also changes into like an old lady at the very end. And it's like phenomenal. So we're gonna talk about the supplies that you're gonna need. So you're gonna need 2 sheets of paper. This is so you can put one artwork on here, and then the next one you're gonna do is put the second artwork on here. So next, what you're gonna need is another 2 sheets of paper or 2.5 sheets of paper. And the reason for that is we're gonna be pasting our artwork onto this. So depending the size of the original paper, it can actually lead it to where we might need 2.5, maybe 3, or maybe less. So it's always good to have more pieces of paper. I always say more is better. Your pencil, so you can do your drawing. You can use colors, you can color pencils, you can use crayons, you can use markers, anything to spruce up your paper. You're gonna need scissors, a stapler, a staple remover, a glue stick, ruler. So those are the essentials that you're gonna need to make this lenticular art. Let's get started. Start your drawing. So you're gonna have your drawing number 1 and your drawing number 2. Now my drawing was based off the Disney movie Cruella, and if you've seen the movie, you'll get why there's 2 drawings. So you have a Stella and you have Cruella. And if you're really confused by that, just watch the movie, you'll get it. The next thing I would like to do and advise you is if you have some sort of lamp, I think it would be best that you hold your first piece and try to line it up to see the images line up. Now you don't have to line up your images, but it does help a little bit to make the transition seem smoother. That's my personal opinion. So if you have any sort of lamp, if you hold it to the light, it will look cool, I promise. When you're going back and forth, you're like, oh my gosh, you already see your art piece. Okay, so I finished my drawing and I put it up to the light and it looks really cool, right? So the next thing what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna color it in. Now, however you wanna color, have fun with it. Spruce it up. For my design, what I ended up doing was I drew a sewing machine, some pen cushioners with pins, and then I also did for the other drawing spots to represent Cruella de Vil. So however you want to draw your drawing, that's how you're going to do it. And just have fun with it. Okay, so I finished my coloring, right? So now what we're going to do next is we're going to get our ruler, okay? Now what I ended up doing with my ruler, and this is a clear one, I ended up marking it by inches. I think we can see it. So I'm gonna line up my paper and I'm gonna make sure it's flushed. For those of you who don't know what flush is making sure it's lined up. Flush with my paper, and literally I'm gonna make a mark. So I'm gonna make a mark because it's flush, right? And I'm gonna leave a tick. And you're gonna keep on marking an inch across your paper. What you do on top, you're gonna do on the bottom. And the reason why I advise you to do that is because that way you can line up your lines. So again, I'm gonna do an inch, mark, mark, okay? And now, if you see, when I line up my paper, I just gotta draw a straight line, and those will give me my straight lines. And I'm gonna do it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now to clarify, you are going to take the mark that you made on top and the mark that you made at the bottom and draw a vertical line. And you're going to do that for each mark. Draw a vertical line. Now, you can mark it on your other one as well. But for me, since I'm a person that has trouble with marking sometimes, and I'm not going to lie. And after I do the lines for the first one, I line it up. Right? I flush it out. I make sure it's lined up. like this, like so. And then what I do is I get my stapler and I'm gonna staple right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So literally you're stapling each area, okay? And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut your line. And before I continue, if you're a youngie who wants to do this, please make sure that you have parent supervision with you on this one, or ask parent permission to be doing that. So you're gonna cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. So you're gonna have it cut out like this. And as you notice, you'll see the staple that is holding it together. What I would advise you to do, literally, is take your pencil and mark the pieces. It's gonna be mark 1. And then your second piece at the bottom, it's gonna be marked 1 as well. So you have strip 1 on top and strip 2 at the bottom. So now you're going to continue cutting your strips of paper back and forth, cutting strips. Now, if you do the second one, remember it's going to be marked 2, 2. You do the third one, 3, 3. Fourth one, you're getting it. Also, you're getting it. Okay, so 4, 4. You are correct. Also, where you're going to need parent supervision is literally to remove the staples, because we don't want you poking yourself, okay? So what we're doing is we're removing the staple, right? So if you have an alligator, I'm going to remove this staple right here, okay? And ba-bang, here we are. We remove this staple. Cool. Now, remember how I was telling you about like 1, 1, 2, 2, and that was kind of confusing? Well, this is where it's going to be unconfusing. My art, the first one that I had on top, right, that's going to be my first piece that I paste. And this is where we use a glue stick. Now, the reason why I like glue sticks is because if you use regular liquid glue, it creates a bubble, and you don't want any bubbles on your art piece. This one doesn't, and I love it so much, okay? So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna glue your piece, the first piece, which is your top one, onto the paper, okay? So that is one. The next thing you're gonna do is glue the other one onto the paper, side by side. And you're going to go back and forth doing this with 2 and 2. So the top goes next, the bottom one goes next, the third one goes next. As you see in this example of Corella, you will see that's how you're going to be doing it. Alternating back and forth, alternating back and forth, alternating back and forth. That is going to take some time. And you're going to notice one of the strip is not going to fit, and that's okay. So do not paste that strip onto that paper. What you're going to do is you're going to get the second paper like I told you and start doing the same process. So you finish your drawing. You finish gluing your stuff. You're going to have probably, if you realize that you have some edges that you didn't fit, okay? If you realize like you have a piece right here that did not fit into that, go ahead and leave that there, because when you fold it, you'll be able to glue the pieces of the two papers together. So that's okay. Now, what you're going to do is you have your images glued on. And like I said, you're going to glue that edges together. And you're going to go like a fan. Back, forth, back, forth, back. Okay, and then you have your drawing. And that's it. I hope this helped. If there's any confusion, please leave comments below and I will help you out with those confusions. Again, this is supposed to be a fun activity that you can do. And also, I'm John Perez, the Artist's Eye, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.